As the Veteran Guardsmen were crushed under the heels of the Greenskins, a quick retreat to Outpost 266 led to an issued state of emergency on Osiris. Garrisons were put on high alert at the looming threat of a coordinated Orc attack. The nearest Astartes were called into action, which happened to be a Green Wing section of the Dark Angels. A kill team was formed under Sergeant Rayner, and they were sent to investigate. What they would find, however, would be far from greenskins. Welcome back to Miniature Game Montage and another Kill Team Battle Report. We're going to give this game another go, and based on your awesome feedback from Episode 2, hopefully improve on the rules. The best fix is to play more, and we're going to take a step back from the narrative aspect and do some match play type of games. We will continue to have an evolving narrative, but more cutting back on the admin and the amount of items we have to remember. Let's get introduced to Rayner's Rangers, led by Sergeant Rayner with auto bolt rifle and 4 intercessors with bolt rifles. Sergeant Rayner carries frag grenades and an auxiliary grenade launcher. Aquinas will carry an Auspex, and Cable will carry a frag grenade, in total 9 EP. Today they will face off against the Keepers of Osiris. Makret leads the way with Immortals Amhut, Anhutek, and Kotek. They are followed by a group of warriors. Makret will have Mind Shackle Scarabs, Amhut will have Devour Nano Scarabs, Amutek and Kotek will have Starfire Cores, in total 10 EP. Today's matchup is Escalating Hostilities, where we start with 6 objectives on the board. At the end of the second and third initiative phases, starting with the player who has initiative, each player removes 1 objective marker that is closest to their drop zone. The mission objective is to score points by controlling objective markers. At the end of the first and second turning point, each objective is worth 1 VP to a max of 4, and at the end of the third and fourth turning point, players will score 2 VPs per objective controlled. For secondary objectives, the Dark Angels get Rout, Rob and Ransack, and Hold the Lines. The Necrons get Headhunter, Hold the Line, and Deadly Marksman. With fighters deployed, we move to the scouting phase, where both forces select Infiltrate, and the Dark Angels have the initiative. We hope you enjoyed this battle report. Alright, gearing up for turn 1, Rout being revealed by the Dark Angels, meaning they need to incapacitate one of the Necron operatives with one of their own within 6 inches of their drop zone. This will not happen this turn, but can be achieved in later turns in the game. Bolter Discipline also being played for 1 CP, as the Necrons are going to play Implacable March, both sides going down to 2 CP. And up first, Aquinas is going to move for the Dark Angels, using a move and a dash to get into position on the objective. This will get a reaction from the Necrons, as L4, the warrior, using Implacable March to move a little further than normal. He does bring Aquinas into his line of sight and has a free range of fire. And he is going to shoot with his Gauss Flare. 4 dice going out, hitting on his ballistic skill of 3, and 3 of these are going to go through. And there'll be 3 saves taken by Aquinas, needing 3s. There's going to be 2 that fail. That will deal 6 wounds, and Sergeant Rayner will move to the window and return fire with his auto bolt rifle, targeting L4. And he's going to get 4 shots. L4 will get some cover here, and these shots will be hitting on 2s. So those dice come out, and all are good. There is a critical out there. Cover will retain 1 of the saves automatically, and 2 defense will come out. And this warrior is looking for 4s, and it will not get it. That's going to be a critical and 2 regular going through. That's 10 total damage, and L4 is taken out of action. Back over to the Necrons. L3 is then going to move into position, and he is going to aim back down that same corridor and fire at Aquinas with his Gauss Flare. Once again, there will be 4 shots here, hitting on 3s, and there will be no cover. He does have clear line of sight to him, and that will result in 2 hits. And there will be 3 saves that are taken here, and that's 2 critical saves. Both are good. Dark Angels activate next. Cable moves up with an action, and he is going to target L3 with that bolt rifle. And he will get a little bit of cover here from this shot, and this is going to be 4 attacks. They will hit on his ballistic skill, which is 3. Dice hit the deck, and there's going to be a critical and 2 regular hits. We will retain one of these saves for cover, and since there's a critical out there, this triggers the AP1 on this weapon, and that removes one of the defense dice. So only 1 are left, and that will save that regular hit, but that is still 4 damage going through onto L3. We've then got Kotek, who moves up. He has been designated as the marksman, and he is going to bring Cable into a clear line of sight and fire with his Gauss Blaster. This will be 4 shots hitting on his BS, which is 3. And this weapon is AP-1, so 4 shots going out, 2 are going to hit. And at AP-1, he gets 3 defense. This should reduce it down to 2. My opponent rolls 3 anyway, and he's looking for 3s. That is 2 saves, so no damage. Lazarus then activates for the Dark Angels. He moves forward with an engage order and sees Kotek out in the open. He's going to take shots with his bolt rifle, and he's going to roll 4 dice, once again needing at 3s. And that's going to be 1 critical and 2 hits. This triggers AP1, reducing his defense down to 2, and he'll be looking for 3s here. And he is going to get a critical save to block out that critical hit, and 1 regular, but there will be 1 that goes through this 3 damage onto Kotek. And using Bolter Discipline, shots come roaring back out again, and that will be 2 criticals. And that will trigger AP-1, reducing him down to a defense of 2. And looking for 3s here on these, or 6s on these saves, he gets neither. So that will be 8 total damage plus the other 3. That will incapacitate him, going over his 10 wounds, and reanimation protocols being played for 1 CP. Up next we have L2 moving into position, getting some extra move from Implacable March, and he is going to target Cable with his Gauss Flare and fire that down. This will be 4 shots hitting on 3s, and Cable will get cover. So shots coming out, there will be 3 total hits, and defense dice will be coming out, saving 1 for cover, so 2 are coming out, and they will both fail, so that will be 6 damage on Cable. We've then got Dom up top, who flips over to an engage order using the infiltrate ability, and he will be firing down at the warrior there in the front, L3. And this will be 4 shots coming out, hitting on 3s, and he will get the benefit of cover there at the bottom. And that is going to be a total of 3 hits. And defense will come out, getting 3 dice, retaining 1 of those for cover, so just rolling 2 and looking for 4s. Those are going to be blocked. Bolter Discipline allowing him to fire down again with another action point, and again needing 3s. That's going to be 4 total hits. And there's no AP that has been triggered, so 1 will get retained for cover, and 2 dice roll out, and that's going to be 1 fail. So with 6 total damage onto him, plus the critical that he already had on him, that will incapacitate L3. And back down at the flank, Amhut activates, uses his infiltrate to change his order, and he moves forward, going to get a little bit closer with Implacable March, trying to bring Aquinas into clear line of shot with his Gauss Blaster, and he will be able to do that. So going to target Aquinas with the Gauss Blaster. There will be 4 attacks coming out, hitting on 3s. There's no cover. And dice come out. That's going to be a total of 3 successes. And using that final command point to reroll one of these back out to really try to apply the damage, it fails. There's 3 successes out there. AP-1 takes him down to 2 defense, looking for 3s. And it looks like 1 will miss, so 2 hits will go through. And then the Dark Angels will use a command point reroll here to try to save one of these, looking for a 3 or better. It still fails, So there will be 2 hits that go through, and that is a total of 8 damage, and that is going to take Aquinas out of action. The Dark Angels will begin to overwatch as Dom fires down at Amhut. It does worsen his ballistic skill, so looking for 4s. 3 of them still go through. 3 defense dice are taken looking for 3s. 2 of these are blocked, but that will be 3 damage that goes on to Amhut. We've then got L1, who is going to activate with a Conceal Order, moving up to the objective and staying hidden. And back to Overwatch, Sergeant Raynor activates, and he fires the auto bolt rifle at Amhut, and his ballistic skill will be worsened by 1, so he will be hitting on 3s. And 3 of these are still going to connect with 2 criticals. Defensive 3 taken looking for 3s. He's going to use 2 of these to negate one of those crits. So that will still be 1 crit and 1 regular that goes through. That'll be a total of 7 damage. And with the 3 wounds that he had on him from last time, that brings his total wound count to 10, and that will incapacitate Amhut. Over on the other flank, the warrior L5 is going to peer through the window and take a shot at Lazarus downrange. Lazarus is going to get cover here, but there will be 4 shots coming from that Gauss Flayer hitting on 3s. We accidentally count this weapon as having a piercing. It does not. There's 3 crits and a regular hit that go through, and since we counted it as having a pierce, that would reduce his defense from 3 to 2, and then he will retain 1 for being in cover. So he is going to roll up a critical save here, so there will be 2 crits that go through on Lazarus. I think if we rolled another die, more than likely would not have been a 6, the result would have been the same. Lazarus will quickly return fire with an Overwatch shot, and this would normally hit on 5s. He normally hits on a base of 3, Overwatch would be a 4, and he is now injured after taking 8 wounds just now, so it would be 5s. Only that 6 should go through. We accidentally played this as he hits on 3s like normal. We did give L5 cover, so he retained one of those. And then the AP, of course, reduces him down to 1 defense, and that is failed, so that critical will still go through onto L5, causing 4 damage. We've then got to move from Anhutek, who is going to use his actions to get onto the objective, moving, using Implacable March, able to go further if he needs to. And then back to the Dark Angels, we do have another Overwatch shot coming across. This time it is coming from Cable. They're in the middle, and he is targeting the warrior there in the center of the battlefield. This warrior will get cover. There will be 4 shots coming out from his bolt rifle, and it will be hitting on 4s. There will be 1 of these that go through, and that will be negated due to cover. Makrot is then going to activate and move forward, and using a dash maneuver as well, he is going to occupy that center objective. That brings us to the end of the first turning point, and the Necrons are going to score 3 points for occupying 3 of the objectives. The Dark Angels, unfortunately, were shot off the 1 objective that they had. They only took 1 casualty in this one. Lazarus took quite a bit of wounds on the flank. The Necrons were cut down, but using their numbers to take an advantage in this game so far. Turn 2 coming up next. And going back to watch some of that footage, I was able to pin some errors, and we did make those corrections moving into turn 2. First off, playing Reanimation Protocols here, and he is going to get back D3 wounds and stand back up here. This is Kotek, and he will get back up with 2 wounds. Living Metal will give him an additional 2, taking him to 4, and then we've also got L5, which will get 2 more wounds back as well. Turn 2 initiative rolls go out, and the turn goes over to the Dark Angels and Bolter Discipline being played. Both sides revealing Hold the Line. And Cable moves up with his first action. He is going to target the warrior here in the trench and firing with his bolt rifle. And this is going to hit on 3s. And 4 dice coming out. That will be 1 critical. And he will get cover here, so retaining 1 of these saves. And AP1 does kick off. I believe we missed this here and allow him to roll 2 dice. And it should just be 1. And he would be fishing for another success here. Does not get it, and he takes the wounds. And with Bolter Discipline, he is going to fire shots at that same warrior again. And this will be 4 more dice coming out, hitting on 3s. The result this time will be 2 hits. AP1 does not kick off this time, and he will save one of these for cover, and 2 defense will come out looking for 4s, and he will block the other. Back to the Tomb World, Kotek will activate. He is going to fire that Gauss Blaster down at Lazarus, and this will be 4 shots hitting on 4s now because he is injured, and that's going to result in 1 crit and 1 hit. This is AP -1, and that Starfire Core is going to kick off, allowing him to change one of the misses to a normal hit. So that'll be a total of 2 hits and 1 crit. We will retain one of these for cover. AP -1 will take his defense down to a 1, and he will roll 1 die here, trying to get a critical to block that out. He will get 1 success to block out the normal hit, but that is still going to be 5 damage. The Dark Angels will spend their last CP for Transhuman Physiology to change one of their normal blocks to a critical block. That will only be 4 damage, and that will leave Lazarus with 1 wound remaining. He is immediately going to fire back with his bolt rifle. This will be 4 shots hitting on 4s because he is severely injured at this point, and he is targeting Kotek. He will get 2 criticals, and this will kick off AP -1, and this will be 2 defense dice coming out, and he's not going to get any help against these crits. Those are going through. That is going to take Kotek out of action. He will play Reanimation Protocols and attempt to stand back up next round. Bolter Discipline will allow him to take another shot, and he is targeting L5 here through the window. So 4 more shots coming out from his bolt rifle, and he will be hitting on 4s, and that fighter will get cover. So all of these are going to hit. 2 criticals, 2 regular hits. That will kick off AP -1, and that will reduce him down to 2 defense. He will retain one of these for cover, so 1 die will roll out, looking to get anything to block these shots. He will block out the normal shots. 2 criticals still go through, and that is going to be a dead Necron Warrior. Lazarus will then use his last action to move back. Even though he has an engage order, he would be officially out of line of sight from other operatives trying to shoot at him. And back over to the Necrons, we've got a shot coming from L2 going into Cable. He will get cover from this shot, and this Gauss Flayer has 4 shots hitting on 3s. All of these are going to connect with the target. Cable will retain one of these for cover. There's no AP on this weapon, so he will roll out a defense of 2, and he will be looking for 3s. He is going to block 2 more, but 1 still goes through. And with his last action, he is going to hop on over the wall, trying to get cover from all angles. And we will flip back over to the Dark Angels, where Dom, on the vantage point, is going to fire down at L1. Although he has a conceal order, being on a vantage point allows him to treat him as if he has an engage order. So he is going to fire with his bolt rifle, 4 shots coming out, needing 3s, and all of these are going to hit. We will retain one of these for cover, and 2 dice are coming out looking for 4s, and that's going to be 2 more blocks. So that will be 1 normal hit that goes through, causing 3 damage. Bolter Discipline allowing him to fire again. This time not so lucky, only 1 will go through, and he will retain that for cover. Back over to the Necrons, Anutek is going to move just to get in range of Cable here. He's got an easy shot here with his Gauss Blaster. This will be 4 shots hitting on 3s. That's going to result in 2 normal hits, and there's no cover here. It is AP -1, so that will reduce his defense from 3 down to 2. So 2 saves are being rolled out, looking for 3 ups, and those are both good. We move over to Sergeant Rayner, who pops through the window, and he is going to fire a crack grenade through his grenade launcher at Makret, and this will be 4 attacks hitting on 3s. And all of these are going to hit. It is AP -1, so that will reduce his defense down to 2. And he will be looking for 3s or higher here. He's going to block 2 of them, but that's still going to be 2 regular hits that go through. With 8 damage on Makrat, he becomes injured, and Sergeant Rayner will use another action here to dash to the objective. Markrot is then going to activate. He is going to move to the objective here, flipping up to an engage order, and he is going to target Cable across the trench here, being sure that he is getting cover in case there is a return fire at some point, and his Gauss Blaster will ring out. He normally hits on 2s, but the injury now makes him hit on a ballistic skill of 3. So 4 dice coming out from the Gauss Blaster, and looking for 3s here. That'll be 3 regular hits, and the Cable will retain one of these for cover, and it is AP -1, so only defensive 1 here coming out, or 1 defense dice coming out, I should say, looking for 3s. And he will get that. That is still going to be a normal hit that goes through, and he will be down to 1 wound. And with the Dark Angels out of activations, they move to an Overwatch sequence where Dom is going to fire down at L1. His ballistic skill will be worsened by 1, so he will be hitting on 4s, but 4 shots coming out from his bolt rifle, and he does get to fire at L1, even though he has a conceal order because he is on a vantage point. And that's going to be 2 criticals that go through, and it is AP -1 because of those criticals, and this is going to be retaining 1 die for cover. So 1 will roll out. He is looking for another success, and that success is on a 4 up, and he will get that. He will block out one of those crits. That is still 1 critical that goes through onto L1, that he then becomes injured. He's going to flip up to an engage order, and he is going to reposition slightly, and he is going to fire across the trench at Cable, trying to take him out of action before he can overwatch again. And the Gauss Flare will fire out with 4 shots. It will now be hitting on 4s due to the injury that he has. All of these will go through, and the Cable will get to retain 1 dice for cover. 2 roll out looking for 3s. He gets 1 more success, but that is going to be enough to easily incapacitate him, as he only had 1 wound remaining. And that's going to bring the second turning point to a close. The Dark Angels are going to score a point here for being on one of their objectives from Sergeant Raynor. The Necrons are going to score 2 points for being on 2 objectives, and each player is going to remove one of those objectives off the board. Both sides scoring hold the line as a secondary objective, and this one brings the total to 6-2 in favor of the Tomb World. Looking to turn 3, Reanimation Protocols being taken on a 3+. Kotek stands back up with D3 wounds. It's going to be a total of 5 with Living Metal. We also have some others that recover wounds as well. And with the initiative rolls, the Dark Angels are going to be up first. Sergeant Raynor is going to charge into Markrot, and they do play Shock Assault here, and that's going to allow him to essentially fight twice. And as Raynor charges in, he is going to get 4 attacks, and he will be hitting on 3s with his fists. The Bayonet will strike back, looking for 3s as well. Due to the injury on Markrot, that critical is going to strike him, and Markrot is going to strike back, and then there will be a normal strike that comes across from Raynor that will take Markrot out of action, and very quickly a reanimation protocol being played, taking the Necrons back down to 0 CP. Over for the Tomb World, Amputek is going to move up, and he's going to fire his Gauss Blaster at Sergeant Raynor, trying to get him off the objective while occupying his own. This will be 4 shots, hitting on 3s, and those are all going to hit with 1 critical. And Raynor is going to retain one of these for cover, and AP -1, 1 defense will roll out. While that will be a success, there's still multiple hits that are going through on Raynor, total of 1 critical and 1 normal. He becomes injured, going down to 1 wound remaining. And then over for the Dark Angels, Dom is going to fire down from his vantage point, and he is targeting this warrior again on this back objective. And this will be 4 dice coming from his bolt rifle, hitting on 3s. 2 of those are going to hit, and it is going to be 3 defense here, looking for 4s. And that'll be 1 success. That'll be 1 more hit onto that warrior. If it weren't for living metal, he'd probably be dead. Dom then jumps down and uses a dash to get into cover, trying to go for objectives. That warrior is then going to lumber forwards, and he is going to target Sergeant Raynor with his Gauss Flare. He is injured, so now hitting on 4s. There will be 4 dice that come out, and looking for 4s. There will be 1 hit, and there is no cover here, so Sergeant Raynor is going to roll out his defense of 3. No AP on this weapon, and he is looking for 3s. He is easily going to deflect that shot. Lazarus then moves up on the flank, and he is going to fire down, and he is going to be targeting Kotek, trying to finally take this marksman out of action. And 4 dice coming out from his bolt rifle. That'll be 2 criticals and 1 normal, just 2 criticals as he is injured. And that will kick off AP -1, so 2 dice come out. Those are both going to fail, and Kotek is finally taken out of the game. L2 will then activate, switching up to a conceal order, and he is going to move behind cover, looking to occupy that objective on the next turn in case anything happens. And turning point 3 comes to a close. Both sides will score a point for hold the line. The Dark Angels will score a point for rob and ransack, and both sides will score 2 victory points for occupying an objective in the middle. Those 2 outside objectives, of course, peel off the board. We are gearing up for turn 4. Reanimation Protocols being played on Mokrat. He is going to stand back up, and he will have 3 wounds. Living Metal will take him up to 5. Other warriors around the board getting 2 wounds back for Living Metal as well. And we are going to peel objectives off the board and move into rolling for initiative and turning point 4. The objectives are supposed to be pulled off after the initiative phase. I think we overlooked that, so some points being left on the board this entire game for both sides. The Necrons are going to take the initiative for the 4th turning point, and we are immediately going to see Mokrat. He is going to fire that Gauss Blaster into Raynor, just standing up. He is injured, so he will be hitting on 3s, but 4 dice are coming out. That is going to be 1 critical and 2 normal hits. So Sergeant Raynor, this is AP -1. That'll take him down to a defense of 2. And he will block out the critical. He will block out 1 of the normal hits, but 1 will still leak through. That'll be 4 damage, and that is going to incapacitate him. Bolter Discipline was played by the Dark Angels, and Dom moves into position. He does stay out of engagement range. You can't fire at an enemy operative if you are within engagement range of them, but he's going to take shots with his bolt rifle. 4 shots coming out, needing 3s. 2 of these are going to hit. There's no AP that kicks off on this, so Mokrat is going to get a defense of 3, and he is looking for 3s. He does save 1. We do have a cock die out, that 1, not flat, so we re-roll that one back out. That turns into another critical save, so both those shots are blocked. Bolter Discipline allowing him to fire again. This time 3 shots connect. There is a critical out there, which does do AP -1, so defense of 2 coming out for Mokrat. He is going to block 1, but enough shots will go through to incapacitate him. The Tomb Worlds did play Relentless Onslaught in this one, so no reanimation protocols can be played. And the warrior is going to step up and take a shot at Dom with his Gauss Flare. And he is going to re-roll out a cock die here. He's going to get 2 criticals. He is hitting on 4s due to the injury that he has. And Dom is going to take saves here. He is going to get 3 of them, and he is looking for criticals here, or 2 successes. He gets nothing. That applies 8 wounds to him, and he is injured. Lazarus then activates. He is going to take a shot at the Immortal here, and this is Anhutek. 4 shots coming out from his bolt rifle. He is hitting on 4s because he is injured. 2 regular hits will go through. There is no cover, and this is going to be 3 dice that roll out. One of those will be blocked, but that will be 3 damage onto Amutek. Bolter Discipline allowing him to take shots again. Only 1 hit going through this time. And saves are coming out. That will be deflected on that 3. So then Amutek is going to line up a shot at Dom coming across the trench line here. And this will be 4 dice from his Gauss Blaster hitting on 3s as he is not injured yet, so 3 hits will go through. And then we will retain one of these for cover. It is AP -1, so 1 die coming out. That will be a success, but that's still 1 more hit going through onto Dom. So on 1 wound, Dom is going to do an Overwatch shot here at this warrior, trying to get him off of the objective. 4 shots coming out from his bolt rifle. He is injured, so normally hitting on a 3, injury is a 4, and Overwatch is a 5. So he will get a critical, and this is going to make it AP -1. We do have 1 cock die out there to re-roll. So 1 critical, AP -1 will take him down to a defense of 2. And this warrior will be looking for a critical to block this shot. He does not get it, nor does he get 2 successes. So he is going to be taken out of action, and the Dark Angels are going to occupy this objective. Lastly, L2 over here is going to flip back to an engage order, move up to the trench line, and he will be able to target Dom with his Gauss Flare. He's got 4 shots that are coming across the trench, and these are going to hit on 3s. And that's going to result in 3 hits. Dom will retain 1 for cover, and 2 defense coming out. That is going to be 2 successes, so the shots are blocked. And that is going to bring Turning Point 4 and the game to a close, as the Dark Angels are going to score 2 points, and the Tomb World are going to score 2 points. Both sides will score a point for Hold the Line, and the Tomb World will score a point for Headhunter, bringing our final score to 13-9 in favor of the Tomb World. Got a post-game report coming right up on some things that we missed in watching this footage. Try to go back and call out the corrections where I saw them and watching it and editing. So I will cover that now, as well as what I thought was useful, what we misused, and maybe some things that we can improve on for next time. Alright, welcome to the post game, and in this one there were quite a few things that I watched and noticed that we can improve on. One, we brought Auspex and didn't really use it. I didn't really notice that it cost 2 action points to use until my son made that first move, and we were like, well, maybe we should have passed that Auspex over to somebody. The Auspex strips cover, so it could have been very useful in some shooting. And unfortunately, Aquinas was the one that was carrying that. He ran up to the objective and immediately got blown off the board in the first turn. We also played the objectives a little wrong in this one. I don't think it would have swung the game too much, but the objectives are supposed to be peeled off after the initiative roll. So those corner outside objectives would have been scored prior to peeling those off in the following turning point. Also, really didn't like the objectives that the Dark Angels had for secondaries. They had Rout and Rob and Ransack, which really did not play into the game. They couldn't push up the board fast enough to get Rout, and Rob and Ransack is more of a combat-oriented type of secondary. And the Tomb World, of course, they like to keep their distance and shoot at stuff versus getting into combat. I do think we made a lot of improvements on the rules, including Overwatch and, minusing the ballistic skills and things like that, the injuries, trying to pay attention to that, as well as, the AP. I think we completely got that wrong in our other games. AP actually takes away a defense. So we've been making improvements here and there, and just really looking forward to continuing to make those improvements moving forward. Over for the Necrons, I did like the Starfire cores. I think those did pretty well. You could change a miss to a hit, essentially. And at AP -1, I really like the Gauss Blasters. Did not have an opportunity to use the Scarabs in this game, which is a bit of a miss on my part as well. You bring all this equipment and don't get a chance to use it. But again, we are not experts with this game. We are still learning. I just really enjoy playing these games and sharing them with you. Overall, we had a lot of fun playing this game and making it and bringing it to life. We look forward to continuing this series, expanding with more factions as we get them painted up, and just bringing more stories to life in this little world of ours. So I would like to say thank you so much for watching. A big thank you to my 2022 Coffee Supporters Club. Your names are on the screen now. If you'd like more information on that, a link will be in the description. Quite frankly, if you've watched the video this far, you have done more than enough to support this channel already. So big thank you for watching. We will see you in the next one. Take care.